Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 Probots commentary. Today we are on the map Dethora, and we have got a bot that I've cast before. It's JensiiiBot. Oh my gosh. SharpenedEdge is the name of the other bot. Saying warning, sharp edge point. Oh, that's good. Whereas JensiiiBot thanking Elad for the map analyzer, as usual, with the very respectful GLHF. And yeah, so another bot versus bot match. Oh my gosh, I love that from SharpenedBot. Oh, that's good. Yeah, bot versus bot commentary. As per usual, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button if you enjoy these. It lets me know that someone out there is actually watching as I talk about robots versus robots, you know? Yeah, let's take a look here as the probe is going to be moving towards the main base of Jensii, it appears. And yeah, pretty normal builds from both these bots. Both these competitors is, I guess, the word I should use. Lots of APM spamming from SharpenedEdge in order to get down that cybernetics core as quick as possible. JensiiiBot going to be coming out with a Reaper. We'll see how well JensiiiBot micros that Reaper. Maybe it's got I think JensiiiBot's been around a while too, sort of similar to Micro Machine, so I'm wondering if it's going to be similar control to Micro Machine. Yeah, now we see the probe just going to be harassing this natural base command center. JensiiiBot, of course, has got a response to that. That's probably one of the first things you have to program if you're going to make a bot that is Terran and expands. You got to make sure that SCV doesn't just keep getting picked off or whatever. Now, JensiiiBot going to be scouting out, says, hey, it's a gateway, a cyber core, double gas, that kind of stuff. Excuse me as I sneeze my brains out. What was left of him? What was left of him anyway? Yeah, now we see just a bunker going up for JensiiiBot, so playing fairly human, and I believe I actually cast JensiiiBot, and Jensii played, or maybe it was Sharpie. Oh gosh, I need to cast more of these bots so I recognize all their names and everything. Reaper going to be scouting out for JensiiiBot. Looks like its main goal here is to try and get some information, and that's a very reasonable play. Check out for whatever tech the Protoss has on the way. In reality, though, SharpenedEdge is just going to be going for a Nexus. This makes me wonder, is SharpenedEdge just going to go for, like, mass charge lots or something? What are we going to see here? What's it going to be? Is it going to be a Stargate? No, a Robo. Okay. Yeah, very quick third base from JensiiiBot. Now just gonna be retreating with this Reaper. No, your headphones didn't just stop working there. Had to step aside for a second, making me probably the worst YouTube commentator on earth, but you know, I'll do it live, just like Bill O'Reilly. Alright. Now we see double barracks on the way here for JensiiiBot. So gonna be going for primarily 2 racks play, and actually going for a Widowmine drop, yeah. This was definitely JensiiiBot, I think, which I cast in a TVZ, maybe against, started with an S. I need to get better at remembering which bots I've cast and stuff. I could always read, like, a little synopsis about the bots before I cast it, but, you know, that's just not how I roll. And we've actually got SharpenedEdge, gonna be going for Blink behind this opening. So that's kind of crazy, going for such a quick third base with Blink. As if you're actually like a Protoss, you might die if you go for something like this. And I know that third bases are fairly common. However, I'm talking like this was a minute third base. So that was kind of crazy. Widowmine's gonna be dropping, getting some probe kills. Looks like the splitting behavior is not there from SharpenedEdge, which is kind of understandable. It would be very hard to split against that, or to program that, I imagine. But maybe doable. We've now got 11 probes going down for SharpenedEdge, so the bot definitely got some damage done. The Medivac made its way home. Maybe it'll reload more mines, who knows? Is it gonna do that? Is it just gonna load this mine back into the Medivac and go at her again? No. No, the Medivac probably just goes home, right? And then just hangs out with the bio. And yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be bio going into a push for JensiiiBot. Potentially gonna be moving across the map, we shall see. I imagine that that would be the right decision to make, as JensiiiBot is playing like a 2-base Terran, so you know, that's generally what 2-base Terrans do. Alright, now we see double observers hanging out for SharpenedEdge. Interesting observer behavior. I guess it's just to make sure that the bases are covered. Yeah, what's this about? Not using the hold position option, which makes sense because you don't actually need to really do that. Yeah, I wonder if we'll see Protoss players or Protoss bots, pardon me, eventually, and maybe this is what SharpenedEdge has, have observers which are very cautious in a sense, which will always just go in and out of the detection range. Maybe you could program one to kind of anticipate where Terran's Marines are, always be watching the army, but then just always get out of range whenever there's potentially a scan coming down to pick it off. Anyway, we see SharpenedEdge moving out on the map. Charge lots and Stalkers going to be engaging the bio of JensiiiBot. JensiiiBot doing that godlike split, which we've seen before. All the Zealots are now gone for SharpenedEdge. Gonna have to retreat. The Observers are running, but they run into the scans, so that was not a wise move from those obs. The Stalkers trying to micro against this bio, but it seems that there's just too much raw power here for JensiiiBot. SharpenedEdge gonna be alive for now, but I'm not sure how much longer. Although a Colossus does come down to help out. It looks like the army of SharpenedEdge is jumping around a little bit. More Zealots coming forward, gonna be dragging out these Widowmine shots, but not getting too much else done besides that. Stalkers do clean up the mine. Gonna be blinking back. The Colossus, I guess, is just always ready to retreat. Maybe trying to avoid those Vikings as the Stalkers are just being microed endlessly. So it really is a micro battle with these bots always, but for now it does look like JensiiiBot being pushed away by SharpenedEdge. So SharpenedEdge holding on. Still down on supply. JensiiiBot's Vikings weren't able to pick off that Colossus or anything. So Jensii just gonna have to get up a third base, just go back home, I guess, and just macro up, because that attack did not succeed, and now SharpenedEdge is kind of sitting pretty. Getting a Templar Archives on the way. Is this bot gonna be programmed to use Psystorm? Or maybe that's just gonna be for Archons, because the general consensus from what I've heard is that AoE is not that strong with bots, because of course the bots have perfect micro. That's why we saw, oh, I'm trying to remember which bot it was a while back, doesn't use Banelings, because someone like JensiiiBot will just micro endlessly against said Banelings. This bio coming forward, gonna be kiting against these Zealots, splitting back perfectly as we see. However, when it comes to engaging a Protoss army with Colossus, I'm not sure that's the best choice. These Vikings are going to target down the Colossus, though, removing them from the equation. That is good for JensiiiBot. The Marauders are tanking pretty darn well. The Vikings are doing what they can. Looks like they will end up getting that Colossus. Liberator sets off to the right side. It's trying its best. Widowmines are hitting those Stalkers as they try and dodge against it, but it looks like SharpenedEdge is the one who had a failed attack this time, as JensiiiBot is gonna hold on. Yeah, all those Stalkers going down, it appears, and JensiiiBot is able to secure up its third base. Both bots are on a very high worker count. The only difference is that SharpenedEdge has got a fourth base. JensiiiBot actually building a fourth base now, which is good, seeing as how JensiiiBot's very, very saturated at 75 SCVs. We see disruptors now on the way for SharpenedEdge, so it is going to be relying on that AoE. We'll see how well JensiiiBot is able to split off its units. Oh gosh, I'm the worst with an alarm set. Holy cow, I'm a bad commentator. I'm starting to realize that, guys. Jokes aside, yeah, there is a High Templar just hanging out, and I mean, Psystorm hasn't been researched, interestingly enough, so maybe this is just, like, keep one High Templar in the army kind of thing that's been programmed to disable Ravens. That would honestly make sense, to an extent. All the while, Vikings are now on the way for Jensii, Marauders, Marines, 4th Command Center. Alright, +2 is on the way for SharpenedEdge. And now, let's see this Stalker working against this Marine. That poor Marine out on the map. All the while the Stalker Observer combo are wreaking havoc on these scouting Marines. Now, it looks like SharpenedEdge is going to move out for an attack once again. Army supplies are fairly close. There's a high Marauder count for JensiiiBot. The Zealots are moving forward ahead of the army. The Mines are going to dispatch a lot of them, and there's Liberators set up on the high ground, so I'm not sure that this is the attack SharpenedEdge should go for. The Liberators in the bio are just doing really darn well for JensiiiBot. Going to split against that Disruptor. The Disruptor proving rather fruitless against this. This kind of Disruptor play probably good against actual human players, not so much against fellow bots for SharpenedEdge, as that Disruptor just gets picked off, and the army of SharpenedEdge really just melted there to JensiiiBot. So that was really darn good for JensiiiBot. A lot of Marauders seems to be the tech of choice for the Terran AI. Terran bot, pardon me, not AI. We now see another command center going up, and these two bots are just in full-on macro swing. We're going to be seeing these Marauders now crossing the map. Looks like the attackers have been having the hard luck, so we'll see if JensiiiBot is able to make an attack work, as the stream of Marauders is actually just crossing the map. 5th base up for the Protoss. We'll see if that can be held on. I get the feeling it will. JensiiiBot actually just decides to go home, which makes sense to me, as the Medivacs aren't even with those Marauders. And every boy is just going to retreat. These two bots really are looking very human-esque, as we see just an awesome back and forth between these two. It's been attack, failed attack, into counterattack, that kind of stuff. We'll see if that trend's going to continue, but no, SharpenedEdge does seem to be more aggressive at this stage, as JensiiiBot's retreating, even dropping an EMP on those Zealots. The Marauders with kiting are just so darn good, though, as the Medivacs are healing them up non-stop. JensiiiBot losing its attempted sensor tower build really has its priorities straight, as it's building a sensor tower during this fight. It looks like the 3rd base of JensiiiBot does get picked off, though. That's rather painful for the Terran bot, as losing that base was definitely not necessary. It always could have been lifted up. So yeah, that isn't great. That was a rather needless loss. Now let's take a look here, as we see 2 Colossus are on the way for SharpenedEdge. Transitioning again, and I mean, that fight went okay for SharpenedEdge. Getting that 3rd base was rather huge. There was, I believe, another command center built, but that's going to float towards the left side. We'll see if Jensii is going to replace this command center or not. Definitely has the money, although whether it has the motive, I'm not sure. We see these Marauders kiting against this Archon, kiting against these other Protoss units as they head up the ramp. This really is one of the signature traits of JensiiiBot, just that awesome micro, as yeah, the bio really is just so good at picking up these bots units, which don't necessarily conglomerate their units properly. And now we see JensiiiBot just getting 3-3 on the way behind this. A command center is building, not actually at that 3rd base location, so not replacing that. Meanwhile, a random Marine gonna run across the map, scouting out, seeing what's going on. JensiiiBot's actually going to be hitting this Nexus, though, so SharpenedEdge is going to have to react to this, and it looks like SharpenedEdge will save the Nexus, it would seem, and a lot of these Marauders can end up dying. Yeah, JensiiiBot actually just says, nope, sorry, boys, I'm going to leave you. leave you. Screw you guys, I'm going home, says the Medivac pilots. So, a lot of JensiiiBot's units going down with that 3rd base being lost. Not on the best economy, although this base did just get up, so that's okay. And yeah, let's take a look here There is a fusion core now on the way for JensiiiBot. Probably for advanced ballistics, most likely, on these Liberators. And yeah, let's take a look here. Marauders gonna be retreating, avoiding those disruptors. There really isn't that much of an army for JensiiiBot, so it's gonna have to be some endless kiting here, as there's just too much of a Protoss army. These Marauders trying to retreat, but they're getting backed into a corner. Where's the reinforcements for JensiiiBot? I mean, there is some, but it's just not that much, as SharpenedEdge is maybe looking to push on in. JensiiiBot is actually queuing up some units for a counterattack towards the left side, which is interesting. And then let's take a look here. These Ghosts and the bio that remains here are going to be engaging these Archons, as these bots are now really starting to split up their forces. The attack towards the left side by JensiiiBot, going to be able to pick off this Nexus. At the same time, though, a PF goes down that belongs to the Terran bot, as SharpenedEdge was able to pick that off the Immortals. The Zealous still pushing up this ramp. I'm not sure there's enough here for JensiiiBot. That High Templar dropping a ton of feedbacks on the Medivac. Ghosts are now in the equation that can drop EMPs, help out against the Immortals and such. So it looks like this is an okay fight for JensiiiBot. Going to be able to clean up this force, I imagine. At the same time, though, both bots lost a base, and SharpenedEdge is the competitor that is able to absorb that blow more so, it would seem. Constant production from both these bots, really just showing the strength of their cycles. And now we see JensiiiBot just building up back at home. Medivac's healing up these units. What's the APM at for both these bots? We're looking at about 3k to 8k. SharpenedEdge with the higher APM, which say that as you will. Really comes down to programming choice, I imagine, multiplied by unit count, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, we see a Nexus on the way now for SharpenedEdge. Double Nexus, actually, so hedging its bets. And yeah, let's take a look here. Liberators on the way still for JensiiiBot. Both these bots could win this game still, as the army supply is fairly even. The main thing about bots, though, is it's hard to program that killer's instinct. It's hard to tell it when it should really, like, okay, go in, now's the time to make this happen. Sensor tower wasn't cancelled there by JensiiiBot. That could have been done. EMP goes down. We see the Protoss bot pushing in once again. The PF does not actually get repaired again, though, so that does seem to be a bit of a flaw in the behavior of JensiiiBot, not taking care of its bases. I mean, that orbital died, now that PF died. This still was an incredible fight for JensiiiBot, it looks like, as the Colossus is going down, the Stalkers are going down. But yeah, I really feel like that JensiiiBot could have saved that base, and really needed to, as it's now knocked down to 3 bases, really just one mining base. Another command center is about to finish up, but yeah, JensiiiBot, I think, needs to have a look at its base building behavior, or base saving behavior. I mean, as a Terran, that's something that's very important to do. EMPs are going down on these High Templar. However, the High Templar don't have Psystorm, and they haven't been made into Archons, so a bit of a derp there from SharpenedEdge. And is JensiiiBot actually going to push and win this game? It looks like it. SharpenedEdge is just bleeding off a lot of units compared to JensiiiBot, and so we've seen it lose a lot more resources this game, as JensiiiBot just takes incredibly efficient fights against this Protoss composition. Now, the Terran bot is going to end up retreating home, but the Terran bot is still doing pretty darn good, I feel. JensiiiBot now going to be expanding to the top right. It's interesting to see the choices here. It says, all right, in the mind of JensiiiBot, this base is maybe still here, and this base is maybe still here, but they're really not. So maybe some behavior for replacing that would be good. And I know guys, as you watch these, that I'm just dropping like, oh, that would be a good thing to program. Like, you can just snap your fingers and make it happen in a second. No, you really can't. As a programmer, you got to try and decide, like, okay, what's the most efficient thing I could do that could improve my bot, and then decide from a long list of things. Liberators are getting a lot of shots off here for JensiiiBot. There's actually just so many Liberators here. For the love of God, Sharpen, do not go into that. Oh gosh, SharpenedEdge running into these Liberators, having a lot of units be cut up, but actually bypasses a lot of them. Oh gosh, these Liberators, I think, are just gonna die. They've got to retreat, as that was not a good fight. And the game continues on. This is actually a really close bot versus bot match. I do think that JensiiiBot is going to take it, as it is up in supply, whereas SharpenedEdge has got a long way to go still, and just hasn't been taking those efficient fights. Like, JensiiiBot just takes way too good fights. It would seem these Liberators going to cut up whatever walks into those Liberation zones. Yeah, I did not expect JensiiiBot to get up this many Liberators, but now that it does, and that it seems to have very good positioning on them. Oh, big Disruptor hit gets an alright shot, but still so many units bleeding off here for SharpenedEdge. JensiiiBot is just so darn good at taking these fights. Yeah, SharpenedEdge just can't engage in these Liberators, and that would be a tough thing to do if you program a Protoss bot in order to make it try and deal with Liberators smartly. As everything is just getting cut up. Like, this is just that stage in which a bot starts feeding into the danger zone. That one sentry's like, oh gosh, please no, please no. Then the Disruptor. Oh, the Zealot. Not the Zealot. Anything but the Zealot. Oh no, now the Colossus. He's trying to make it through, but oh, he goes down in the end as he gets annihilated by that white beam. The white death. As these Liberators are just really being merciless. Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. Poor SharpenedEdge trying its best, but in the end, I think JensiiiBot will end up taking this game. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button on this video. I know I had to pause the cast there for a second during this, but I do hope you enjoyed the game. Consider subscribing if you enjoy this video. Join the Discord if you have not. All that good stuff. You guys know the drill by now if you've watched more than one video. If you haven't and this is your very first video on the channel and it's like, oh, I'm gonna click on this random Starcraft bot video. Hello? And check out some of the other content. But yeah, JensiiiBot definitely has this one. We do see a Void Ray on the way, interestingly enough, for SharpenedEdge. Maybe that's a response to just being down on supply, down on resources, or just the amount of Liberators. Interesting regardless. But yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.